Hello, folks, and welcome to my channel. And I'm wishing you all a happy new year. So, I thought I'd start off the first video of 2025 with a new playlist that I'm really excited about. So, some of you, especially if you follow me on Instagram and my other YouTube channel, The Thackeray's, and Facebook, will know that I have been drinking cacao daily. Well, daily since round about October time. I've been drinking it regular since September, beginning of September 2024. And cacao has made an absolutely profound impact on my life in so many ways. Okay. And I was pondering new content because I'm thinking about bringing in new things into this channel in 2025. And I thought, wouldn't it be lovely to do a playlist where we look at certain areas of spirituality, life, global issues? I know we've got an inauguration coming up in January. Is it January 25th? I'm not going to Google it. I don't, let me know in the comments. Um, and other things within the collective, energy wise. I'm not going to put it into a box. I'm not going to be rigid with it. I am open with this, okay? Where basically we sit down with a cup of cacao. I say we, you can join me with cacao if you already drink it or if you want to start drinking it, or a coffee or a tea or whatever, whatever you're comfortable with. And we will channel the energy of cacao in relation to that subject. So it could be women's health, men's health, it could be ADHD, it could be inauguration. I will say at this point, if I do touch on global situations, it's not going to be about predictions or what's happening or etc., etc., etc. It's going to be about guidance to those that are watching. I do appreciate that many people miss some of the content that I used to do in the past. There were very, very valid reasons in why I stepped away from that. But I also appreciate and understand that many people are still I don't want to be the type of person that people come here for guidance. That's not what I'm about because I genuinely believe that whatever goes on in the world, you've got your own internal navigation. And I do cringe a bit when I see that energy out there where people need a certain person to come on and tell them their narrative or read some cards on it because ultimately you are your own navigator. But I do understand the need for community and the need for something out there, if that makes sense. So after some pondering, this is what I'm bringing to the table. Okay, look at this. I'm just letting her cool because she is quite hot. Yeah. Anyway, don't want a tangent. um, how do you feel about that? And it won't be and I don't want this to be about global stuff neither, because people can get one-tracked mind with that. And people can actually lose the fact that the global stuff is collapsing at this time. So putting your focus on something on something or someone on the global stage is not going to serve you well. This is about a whole range of things. And you can also give ideas in the comment section of areas that you'd like me to look at. And please bear in mind that I'm only on my own with YouTube with the filming bit. So I will try and do a list of things, but I can't hit it all straight away. And these videos may be once a week sometimes. These videos may be once a month. These videos may be twice a week, depending on how I feel. So let me know below the areas you'd like me to look at. Don't stay one tracked on global stuff though, because I actually won't accept those comments. I don't mind if somebody says, could you look at da 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 da? But I don't want, could you look at Trump? Could you look at Kate? Could you look at Meghan? Could you look at, I don't want that, okay? I'm definitely going to do the inauguration because I'm intrigued by that. In fact, I do need to Google because from what I know, if I think I'm being correct here, and that's why I'm Googling it to make sure, on the 25th of January, I need to think about the dates during this video. On the 25th of January 2025, um, there's a planetary alignment where everything's going to be aligned. And if that's in line with the inauguration, let's have a look how do you spell inauguration? Inauguration. Inauguration day comes up, doesn't it? That's good. That's actually makes me feel a little bit better because I'd have hated that to any, and that's not about Trump. This is about any president. I would have hated that, any kind of inauguration to happen on a day that's really heightened energies and a real opportunity for ascension and awakening, because it can be used as distraction. So what I would say at this point, so according to Google at the time of filming, it's set for Monday the 20th of January 2025. That's obviously 5 days before. Don't lose yourself in that inauguration, because remember that when we get a portal opening up, which will be on the 25th, and I'm going to do a separate video on the actual planetary alignment, don't lose yourself, because what tends to happen as well, sorry, I will be drinking through this as well. What tends to happen is things can be planted to take your attention off of it. Anyway, so yeah. So I'm gonna I'll definitely do an ignore or not, I promise you. If all being well, I don't know whether I'll do it before it or after it, or I could do it both. I could do it both. I could do the run up to it. Let me know in the comments. Use the comments. Let me know in the comments if you'd like the run up to it, and then afterwards as well. And it isn't about who's right, who's wrong. The person, I'd be doing the same for anyone that was coming in. Anyway. So let me know if you'd like that. So this video is also going to be about my journey with cacao, because I know a lot of you have been asking questions about it. So first and foremost, cacao is a plant medicine. She is a sacred plant medicine. She looks very much like a cup of hot chocolate. If you came in now and had a look at that, and I can't tip it up, otherwise we'd have an accident. She'd look like a cup of hot chocolate. You'd think, where's your marshmallows, Claire? No, it's not. It's not hot chocolate. It's a plant medicine drink. It can be used as part of a cacao ceremony with somebody that knows how to facilitate a cacao ceremony. So for that, you'd have a higher dose. Okay. For your daily dose, according to the company that I use, which is Full Power Cacao, and at the time of filming, I am not paid by that company to come on here and talk about it. It's not sponsored, this video. I've not been asked to do it. This is off my own back, because when I come across something that changes my life, I want to share it with someone. So I am not being sponsored or paid or encouraged to do this by the company. So when you get your bag of cacao from Full Power Cacao, on their bags, I don't know about other companies, it has a daily dose, which is 20 grams, and then a ceremony dose, which I've not done the ceremony dose yet for myself. So I'm not sure what that is, but it's on the back. So cacao, you also drink it with plant-based milk. So your oat milks, your soya milks, your coconut milks. I don't think that's the only plant-based milks we have. I think so anyway. You can't use cow's milk with it, simply because this is a heart-opening medicine. So you won't want to put something that's been taken from an animal into that, because it's about opening your heart. Okay. Obviously, I don't know the full science behind it, and I don't sell cacao. So if you want to know more information, the time of filming, the one that I'm getting my information from is Full Power. So you can go to his website, his Instagram. He does newsletters and YouTube. I will put all the links below in the description. And he's got a podcast. He's northern. He, as in Liam Brown, he's northern. He's from Manchester. He's had a very colourful life. He's real. Okay. So if you're looking for real spiritual teachers and spiritual motivators, I can, at the time of filming, recommend Liam Brown. Okay. So that's the cacao that I use at the minute. And I add ginger to it. I add cinnamon, and I add a teaspoon of Manuka honey. And it's the high grade Manuka honey that I use, because it can be very bitter. Again, because I know that people ask a lot of questions about this. He, as in Liam Brown, on his Instagram, has done videos about how to mix it and how to make it. Hi guys, so this is the cacao tutorial. So for mine, I use the Full Power Cacao, oat milk, no sugar oat milk, cinnamon, Manuka honey and ginger. So I'm going to be using 2 portions today. So rather than 20 grams, I'm going to be doing 40. So just measuring it out. So 40, that's for 2 people, okay? So to start off the base mix, you just want to pour a little bit of milk in. Plant-based milk like that. Turn your cooker on. Okay, so it's starting to melt now, as you can see. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it off the light because you don't want it to boil. And I'm going to start the process of melting it. Just gently stirring it with your whisk. I use a plastic whisk or a rubber whisk because I find it easier, but you can use whatever you want. And you just want to melt the pieces of cacao. And just take your time, you can't really rush it. Very slowly adding more milk. If you add too much milk, it won't melt properly, you'll end up with big chunks in, and that's a mistake that I ended up with when I first started doing cacao. You just pop it on the lid just to give it a bit more melt again. And take it off. Just to melt it slightly. So once you've got it to that, like that consistency, yeah, I'm now going to measure some milk out into some cups and gradually pour that in, okay? This is where we need to get another tub of milk out. Always give your plant milks a shake as well, because sometimes the sediment can rest at the bottom. Sugars. Right. So now we're starting to add the milk from the cups. It takes a bit longer when you're doing more than one, to be quite fair. At this point we're going to turn the cooker down. Oops, not off. So I've taken it off the light whilst I'm doing this to let that light cool down. And then I'm going to add the cinnamon. And I'm going to add the ground ginger. And I'm going to add the manuka honey. And it's some fresh one. So I use the, which one's this? This is a 300 plus manuka honey. So I'm just going to teaspoon of that. And melt that in. And you really do, you actually, especially when you're getting used to it, need to put something sweet in it. Not a spoonful of sugar, some honey, some syrup. But try if you can to use a good quality one as well. And I will just leave that now until breakfast is ready on number 2 on my electric cooker. And that's it. I'll come back to you when we're going to go. And also, while it's on the pan on a low light, you can keep putting your intentions for the day in there as well, and smelling it as well. So now it's time to pour. You can see there's some cacao at the back of the pan there. I'm going to get that in a minute with the whisk. Like this. Save some milk. And then just get your whisk and get that. And there we go. Perfect. And as you're mixing it and making it, you're putting your intentions for the day. It helps with depression, it helps with hormones, it helps with anxiety, ADHD, all kinds of things, overwhelm. You know, say for example, you're stressed about something globally, 20th of January, if that's your stress point, it is what it is. Starting your day with this, in meditation, with your journal, nice music. Honestly, I found as well things that would have blown me apart or triggered me hugely actually don't now. This doesn't numb you down, by the way. It doesn't make you all, unfeeling and distant, and it's not like an antidepressant that can sometimes do that, because I've been on those in the past. I apologise for slurps. Doesn't do that. But what it does is it brings you back into your heart-centeredness. So, for example, you may have an argument with someone and you may feel that, ooh, coming up, but then there's something else clicks in that I actually cannot explain to you what that is. I can't put it into words. Sometimes you can't put feelings and energy into words. And you feel the pullback, you feel yourself slip into your heart. And when I'm drinking this, and I drink 1 cup a day, and usually it's first thing on the morning. I'm having it a little bit later today because I'm filming this video. It takes 30 minutes to get fully into your system, but the minute you're sat with it, it's working with you. It's like a hug. It's like a warm, comforting, safe hug in a safe space. It's that minute where you feel wretched, but all of a sudden it goes. And it's a feeling that many people and many humans can struggle with because of our lives, because of the world we live in, because of the programming that we have. So trying to remember lots of things to say in this video. So that's why I keep pausing. But pausing is good. Pausing is good to think about what you're saying. So in September, I started to have this. For me, it was once a week actually. It was on my cleaning day, as you do, because I am northern and I am real and I don't, fluffy everything up. I did it on my cleaning day because it was something I could do to relax with. I used to have it in the afternoon, and I actually can I can if you have for some people, if you have this in the evening or the afternoon, you can struggle to sleep because it can give you that buzz. For me, it didn't do that. But I do recommend getting it in early doors so you've got it for the day. And I started to feel different and calmer and more heart opened. And gradually, I started to want it every day. Not as in, oh, I need to fix it. It wasn't that, it was my soul calling. And with plant medicine, what will happen is, whether it's ayahuasca or this, you will feel pulled. Some people will watch this video and they'll never feel pulled for cacao, and that's fine. There's no good or bad in any of this. Some people will never be pulled to ayahuasca, but all of a sudden you'll get pulled to it, where it feels like a need in your soul, like there's a magnet pulling you to it. And then what will happen is you'll start seeing cacao everywhere. Well, possibly not in the matrix, but in the spiritual community. And people start talking to you about it. And then you'll start going and getting some. And that's what happened. Oh, that was a nice bit of ginger, that. Mix that in. Nice though. Um, and it's also full of magnesium, this, which is good for sleeping, good for hormones, good for all the stuff that actually women need and men need as well. So divine feminine, divine masculine. Um, and I started to watch a lot of Liam's. Yeah, it was Liam's. I started to watch a lot of podcasts about it, his podcast, other people's podcasts, started to watch videos on YouTube and realized that as I was drinking this, I was going off coffee. Because I'm not being a coffee snob here. I am a coffee snob. I'll put my hand up to it, but I'm not a coffee snob, if that makes sense. We have a grounds machine, so we have ground coffee. Beans, we have fresh beans put in. I don't drink instant coffee. But what I found was, since the cacao, I actually have less tolerance for coffee, and it doesn't feel the same. Because what coffee does, it goes woof with your bigging you up type of thing, gives you that adrenaline rush, but then you get the big wallop after it. With cacao, it's a steady increase during the day. So you don't get those big slumps, you don't get the jitters, you don't get the anxiety that you can get with coffee. And without even thinking about it, cacao crept in and coffee crept out. At the time of filming, once a week, now and again, a little bit of shadow will come in and say, I fancy a grounds coffee. And I do it. I make myself a coffee. It doesn't replace cacao. I'll have the coffee just after lunchtime. But I found that as I'm doing it, I'm drinking less and less of the cup. And I think that's the best way to do things. If you suddenly wake up and think, right, I'm going to cut this out, I'm going to cut that out, I'm going to cut the other out, we can actually trip ourselves up and it becomes overwhelming. Whereas if you say, I'm going to reduce my chocolate, you start off eating your bar of chocolate and then you take off one square and then you might have one square left or you might have two squares left, three squares. Do you see what I mean? Rather than going straight cold turkey. Um, and then it just November time, I think it was October, November time, where it became my to go to thing, and it's part of my ceremony now in the morning. It's part of my daily routine, and so let's talk a bit about that. I'll get up in the morning, and I'll get to the gym. We've got our own gym at the back of the house, and I'll get in there for 6:30 in the morning, and I'll get out there for about 7:45. So I do on the cardio, do weights. I'll come straight in. I'll get the pan out. I'll start brewing the cacao. I'll get the porridge on. Got all the flax seeds and all that as well for the porridge. Um, have my breakfast, nice steady away breakfast. Sat at the table, no rushing. Go for my shower, do my meditation, do my makeup, bish bash bosh, and we're ready to go. Changes slightly on a weekend to a slightly different routine, but that's it. And I try to keep to that. I have during Christmas it's deviated slightly, and I can always tell. I mean, we've got a holiday booked in June. We're going on a cruise, and I'm now having to think about because what happens is when you start to make good changes, I'm starting to get the cacao flush now. When you start to get good changes in your life, when you deviate from them, you feel it. So you can't just go on holiday and think, sod it, let's go on a bender. You can't think, sod it, let's just eat shit. Once you start dieting, I hate the word dieting, once you start being mindful of your eating, you can't do it because your body literally feels it. I will also say that cacao increases your vibration, and it can be quite a shock when you go for something or go put yourself into a situation that is not of a good frequency for you because you'll feel it. So please be mindful of that. So it could be a case of, you know what, let's have a glass of wine with our Christmas dinner. You'll feel it. And you'll be like, but it's only a glass of wine. I used to go on a bender back in the day. Why is a glass of wine affecting me thus? It's the cacao. So please be mindful that if you're going to start with the cacao, Lady Cacao here will require you to gradually make changes in your life. Physical, spiritual. Stands to reason if you're going to put something into your body that is pure, she's not going to want to share that space with shit, is she? She's not going to want to share that space with a kebab or a pint of Tetley's. Do they have Tetley's? Love Tetley's. Is it Tetley's? Tetley's beer, yeah. I love Tetley's tea as well, don't I? Anyway, I deviate again. or a big bottle of vodka. She's not going to share the space. So what Lady Cacao will do is she will bring up that shadow that brought, and you'll go on a journey. And that's the thing with Cacao, you're on a journey. The minute you start with her, you are on a journey. And she can pack some punches. She will show you she is loving, she is kind, she's very shamanic. So she's not going to bullshit you. She's going to show you exactly what's going on in your life. So it could even be with your interactions with people. Um, she will show you. It won't. I mean, some people say it's a wallop at the first. It's like woof straight away. Some people it's gradual, and sometimes I'll have things that'll come in woof, and sometimes it'll be gradual. So don't try and label it. Don't try and compare your journey with Cacao with anybody else's. Um, and I want to share this. And I've also booked in. Well, me and Gary are going to it for our first cacao ceremony this year. So we're going to do some footage on that. I don't know whether we'll post it on here or whether we'll post it on our other YouTube channel, The Thackeray's. By the way, all my YouTube channels and Instagram accounts are all below if you want to follow me on my BookTube channel, on The Thackeray's, which is a separate YouTube channel. BookTube is YouTube and books, etc. It's all below. Um, we'll film as much of that as we can, so we're not deviating away from the ceremony, if that makes sense. But what we'll also do is we'll do what we call a natter, where we come on camera a bit like I'm doing here, but we ain't got the big show mic. Got little diddly mics. And we're in the front room rather than the office, and we'll talk about it. So we'll talk about how we're feeling. The thing with Gary is he is scientific based, so you'll have me there and you'll have the scientific mind as well, and to see what can you see the glow, the cacao glow. It's nice, that, isn't it? I like that. Look at that. Anyway, let's keep going. So if you want to see that natter will be once we've done it, and that's not until springtime. Okay, so make sure you subscribe to the Thackeray's. And that's the thing, isn't it, about humans? Humans have lost their glow. You go out into the street now, and it's something I'm having to work on at the minute. We went to Leeds in December, and I had a issue with a dress I'd bought, and I wasn't happy with it. So I thought, let's go to the White Rose. Oh, went to the White Rose. It's in a place called Morley, or just outside Morley in Leeds, and I couldn't cope in there. I couldn't cope in there. I don't think any amount of techniques could have got me through it. It was just not. And again, Lady Cacao, department stores, fast lives, fast cars, fast food. She ain't gonna let you do it. She's gonna bring it up. What are you doing here, Claire? On a Sunday morning, looking for a sparkly dress, when in actual fact you've got a nice jump, you've got some makeup, put that on, stay comfortable. You see, she's not like us. And I got to a stage where I was like, I need to get out of here. And I didn't like any of the clothes. I'm not liking clothes at the minute. New clothes, I just don't. I'm all about comfort. So, where was I? On a tangent. That was interesting. Talking about, you see what it does talking about the Matrix. I was talking about the glow. Thank you. And I walked around, nobody was glowing. Nobody was glowing. Nobody looked happy. In fact, the energy in there was quite dark, heavy. It felt like when I came out, it felt like I was covered in grey slime. It was horrible, and I had to get rid of that. Um, it makes you slow down. Cacao makes you slow down, and I'm conscious of that as well. Of slowing down, because the false matrix of which we've been programmed into is all about quick, 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 fast, 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 fast production. So when you come onto Lady Cacao, it's about slowing down. And it's not about just, hey, Marnie, all the time. There's times where she's actually good with creation. So if you're a writer, if you're a musician, if you like to create or craft or whatever, or you're self-employed, she's great for that as well. She's a great one for creation. But she's not, let's write the thickest book ever. Let's write really quick. She's about sitting down and really being present. I can recommend this for creation. Um, Also, as well, creating a better life for yourself. Creating a better life for yourself is, I think, is important at this time. And so I'm just looking into. I'm using like a crystal ball right now. So I'm just looking into the cup. It is lovely. It's lovely. Um, Make sure you watch his videos. I can't get through this. I can't get this through to people enough. Don't try and wing it. When you're doing this cacao, I might even do a video if I've got time this weekend of me making it. If I do, I'll put it at the end of this video. So when I do say bye, there may be something else coming. Now I've said it, I will do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I will do it. I'll do a video for you at the end where I make it. But he also does videos as well. It's slow. Don't try and rush it. Don't try and rush this and be present with it. Um, and make sure that I mean, some people use orange peel, not orange peel, but orange rind. You know, where you grate it, lemon grating. You can grate ginger into it. Honey, you can use syrup. Don't ever put a spoonful of white sugar in it either, because you don't do that. Again, white sugar contaminates it. Um, yes, the first time I came across cacao was during my shamanic training, and we were meant to do another type of ceremony. But I was actively trying for a child then, and it was, I don't know, I think it was mugwort, so it was something like that. And anyway, a lack of communication or whatever, and we realised we couldn't do that, or that the shaman realised that that possibly wasn't a good thing to be doing. Um, I think it was like on my period or something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So she changed it and she did a cacao ceremony, and we had it in little beakers back then. Um, and it was deeply profound, but I had the I would say the worst purge of, so it was a ceremonial dose. I had the worst purge of my life with it. So I will warn you of that. But for me, there was a lot of stuff that needed to be cleared. And boy, did it clear it. And don't forget, I was training up to walk a shamanic path. So when you're walking a shamanic path as a shamanic healer, your guides are going to put you through the ringer because they're wanting you to face certain things. So I held on to a lot of stuff that I'd not cleared. So when I say I was shitting through the eye of a needle, sweat was dripping during the weeks. It was a week-long process where I was bedbound, um, vomiting, um, diarrhea, shakes, everything, wetting the bed, as in wet with sweat. Um, it's almost like I've briefly mentioned this. It's almost like I forgot how to walk. And by the time that week was over, Gary came up because he'd been looking after me in between trying to work, and said, you do know you've been in bed a week?" And it was like, really? Honestly. Now, when you're doing your shamanic training, or if you're training to be, if you're on your shaman training, I'm not a shaman, by the way, you will have an experience where it's called like the death, where some shamans go. I mean, I'm not getting it's the shamans or shamanic practitioner, where you'll be taken to the point of death, or you can have a near death experience, or you'll be given a disease that will wreck your life, and you've got to come back from that, etc. Or you be involved in a big car crash or something, and you see that you see the portal of death opening up and all of that. It's going to be different for everyone. This was my moment, and Cacao opened that up for me. So she doesn't do that all the time. So when you get your daily dose, you're not going to have that. That was, and I have to, reiterate that. So because people can take things so literal nowadays, that was, I'm sharing this as part of my journey, and that Cacao, instigated that within me, and it was a rebirth moment. There's a lot of worse things that can happen to people. I mean, especially but people call me a shaman. That's why I get a little bit triggered by it. Or when people call themselves shamans when they're not shamans, because to walk a path of the shaman is a big one. It's huge. Um, yeah. Um, so it was quite low key. But for me, as a human being on this earth plane, it was big. Also, you can also get a little bit giddy with this as well, a little bit joyful. You can see, those of you that read energy will be able to see a change in my energy. Or if you want to take the video back throughout this, yeah, and watch it if you can read energy. Um, so I went off Cacao because, like a lot of humans do, is they blame the healer, they blame the teacher, they blame the medicine rather than the purge. So, I mean, God, I actually dread to think what would have happened if I'd have gone to an ayahuasca ceremony. I am getting drawn to ayahuasca, but that, as my guides have said, will be as and when, Claire, so chill out. Because that could have, I mean, I'm sure if anybody watching has had ayahuasca or heard of it or done research on it, you can have something very similar. It's not the plant, it's the trauma within. You could have it during a shamanic healing. I've had it during shamanic healing. You can have a crisis with it. You can even have it during therapy. You know, don't forget the stuff that we hold, it has to come up, but we always blame the external. I'll never have cacao again. So after that period, I stepped away from it. It was the first time, oh God, not thankful that that poison had been purged, as in the poison within me had been purged. Oh no. Um, so I then started to see people online going, having a cup of cacao before my Reiki. I was like, are they nuts? And it killed me off with that stuff. Having a cup of cacao on the morning. I was like, Gary, some people out here having cacao on the morning instead of coffee. This is nuts, this. Do not realise what, and I went really like, whoa, that's mad. Until I stepped out of the ego and the shadow and I stepped into my heart and I started to realise that there was a change within me. And I was getting intrigued. And I'll tell you where it started as well. When Liam Brown went on Dragon's Den last year, 2024. The funny thing was, I'd started to go off Dragon's Den, and I was like, I'm not watching it. Not that it's shit, but it just didn't resonate with me anymore. I felt it was very orchestrated, and I just, group of millionaires and people coming in. I like the ethos of it, but anyway. And I said, no, watch it. And I did. And that's when Liam came in, and I was like, hmm. And then people started to talk to me about him. It was weird. It was weird. And then he started to crop up on my social media, even though I wasn't following him. People started buying bags of his stuff. And I was like, whoa. And I was like, okay. So I booked a shamanic healing for myself with someone else last September. And I was like, I'm going to have my fast in the morning, the shamanic healing. And then I'm going to come out of that, have a breather, have a ground, and have a cup of cacao after it. And honestly, it takes you to another level, especially I had that healing in the morning. And that was my reintroduction to it. And there's nothing to be fearful of it, And this ceremony that I'm going into in the spring will be very different to that one because a lot more work has been done. And as well, I self sabotage with that first one. So that's how I can always tell when people are self sabotaging their healing, their sessions, their lives, because I have done that too. Um, and coming full circle back to cacao, it's a game changer. It really is a game changer. Um, so thinking about content going forward, I think doing what we've done now, there'll be no cards. I'm not going to get the cards out. Not going to get bangles and spangles and crystals, and it's just going to be me. And it's me then. Me, the cup, the cacao, the mic, the backdrop. Although I think the backdrop's going to be changing. I think I'm turning the office round. But anyway, don't get transfixed with that. If I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. Um, and talking about life, talking about spirituality. Imagine if we have a conversation about depression whilst we're having the cacao. Um, I say we as in me and the guides. We. I don't expect. If you want to get yourself some cacao and join in, please do. I don't want people watching these videos that are not drawn to cacao thinking that they can't watch them if they're not drinking cacao. That is not what they're about. If you want to join in, feel free. If you don't want to, make yourself a herbal tea or drink some water. Um, I'm excited about it actually. I mean, because I do like talking about global things, but I think the whole tarot and global things, and yeah, it's put it this way, it's very contaminated out there. Um, and I think this is much more better. And I think imagine, coming up. So if it's on the 20th, when would I do a pre one? When would you? I don't even know what day. What day is it? Would you have it on a weekend, the 20th inauguration? I'm going to get it in my diary and be sensible about things as well and be more planned with content rather than just wanging it out. Um, so the 20th is a Monday. Interesting. So I could do it over the weekend. I could do it the weekend, 17th and 18th. I'll put it in I've got a paper diary as well as an online diary. Um, I'll put it in for a pre-inauguration. So your next cacao with me at the time of filming will be the pre-inauguration where we will as in, we, us, will We'll sit down with the cacao like this, with the mic, with the cacao, and we will just talk. And as I'm doing it, I'm going to be channeling Lady Cacao. So I'm going to be channeling the medicine, talking about Trump if we need to, talking about America if we need to, talking about the inauguration, talking about our reactions, whatever comes up. I'm not going to do loads of notes about it. I'm literally just going to sit here and go for it and tuning into that with the energy of the heart-centered plant medicine. Yeah. And then once we've got through it and out the other side, we'll talk about it again. Yeah, how does that sound? And I don't watch the news, you see, so I don't hear about things going on. But maybe I need to have some way of checking in to keep abreast of things. Oh. um, I could actually just Google now and again the news for this week and say, just I don't want to, like I said, I don't want this to become infected with global stuff because I felt my other channel, last year's work became infected with global stuff in a particular area, and I could feel it. And that's not what I'm not here to be a role tarot reader. I'm not here to be a political tarot reader, but I also feel I do have something valuable to bring to the table. So I do not want these playlists to become contaminated and dragged into it. Um, no missing princesses. I don't like that this year. Thank you very much. Joke. Um, it makes you giggly as well. I've said that, haven't I? We need to laugh about things more. We do need to laugh about things more. Um, that's it. So, any ideas if you'd like to talk about ADHD, autism, cancer? Bear in mind, I'm just me. You know, I'm not a scientist. I have to say all this. And also, as well, at the time of filming, please, if you want to do this, if you've got any medical complaints or anything, speak. I've got to say legally, you've got to speak to your doctor first. Um, And if you want further guidance on it, go and email someone like Liam or the company with the company. I don't think you'd get him directly rather than me because I don't sell the stuff. I don't produce the stuff. It is ethically sourced, by the way. So it's not like you can get some cacao which isn't ethically sourced and it's been tampered with. This comes in like big brown bags with the logo on the front and it's big chunks. Oh, I'm burping now. How rude. See, burping, coughing is releasing energy as well. So yeah, I feel like let's finish the cup. Let's not rush off. If you like this cup, it's by Sass and Bell, as in SASS and Bell. So that would be BELLE. I got these from Doddington Hall, which we go to quite often. Um, yeah, I have a separate cup for cacao. Freaky. No, I do because again, this is my cup for cacao. I'm not going to put Coke in this. I'm not going to put coffee in it. I'm not going to put herbal tea in it. It's my cacao cup. I like to keep it still all about spiritual hygiene. So yeah, we've got inauguration. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at what I ain't even got out any news apps on here. What could we talk about? Global news. Squirrel chasing. Oh, we'll do a bit of that. I don't know if I'm looking at the right thing here. I think I've gone onto like a global news thing. Could talk about Keir Starmer if you want. Yeah, actually come up on my phone. But because I know a lot of people are over a certain age that follow me that would like some guidance with that. So we know about Keir Starmer and some of the decisions he's made. So yeah, um, I'll look at that afterwards. No. But again, we don't want to go into looking at it. We don't want to have that energy. Keep it pure with the cacao, okay? And again, it's not about predictions. It's not about what's going to happen. It's not about the underbelly, deep state, all of that. It's about guidance so that we don't get dragged into it, become contaminated with it. And what is this here to teach us, etc. I actually can't wait now. Anyway, yes, I think that's all I have to say. No, we're going to finish this that way. Once I finish this video, I'm going to go and moulay. Is that what they call it? Moulay my soup. I made some carrot and coriander soup. So again, you can't tolerate processed foods, you don't go from being, how we've been, a cup of coffee or whatever straight away. Some people may do. I don't want people to get freaked out, but you'll find all I can explain it as, is it feels like a magnet comes on inside you that starts to pull you. There will also be an aspect of you that wants to kick back. No, no, I'm having that glass of wine. No, 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 I'm having my cup of coffee. No, 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 I'm going to go to mums and tots, even though a lot of them are toxic. You'll go through it. Because I want to say here as well, that's part of the journey. Sometimes overeating or overindulging or doing something that we deem that's not for a highest of good, because it is for a highest of good to have that experience. It's about how we view things. So, for example, say if you go out with the girls and you've been sober and you have a drink, rather than beat yourself up about that and use it as an excuse to go into an internal monologue and an internal monologue of bringing yourself down, use that as your other stepping stone for actually, yeah, sobriety is for me, or whoa, that was actually a piece of shadow that needed to come out, because sometimes shadow needs to come out via that. For somebody else, it could be having a big, double helping of pudding. It could be going having a one night stand. It could be having a rage with somebody. It could be whatever. And it's an aspect of you, especially when you've been on a healing path, with it a spiritual healing path or a mental health healing path or physically or whatever, you will have that moment where it'll come up and you'll be like, I'm not doing it right. Meditation's not working. And how my guides described it to me was, it's a hidden aspect of you that needed to come out and be purged. And it's almost like you can feel him or her come out, and it's like, oh yeah, that was old me. And rather than going, God, what are you such a freak? Why were you a loser going and drinking all that or eating all that or doing all that? It's like having compassion for your past self as well, having compassion for what you went through, if that makes sense. And I think humans also need to learn to stop berating themselves and beating themselves up and terrorizing themselves with the mind. Mm, it's lovely, is this? Just see what to say. Let me know in the comments. Um, One of the things I would like to do as well, and I'm feeling the pull to this, is to start doing cacao ceremonies myself. But I'm not going to run before I can walk. So I'm going to get used to doing the daily. I'm going to get used to doing a couple of ceremonies a year, being going part of it rather than running it, and then see where I go with that. It's like, for all that I'm Reiki trained, Reiki 1, 2, 3 master, I haven't done teacher yet because I don't feel ready to teach people Reiki. And I wouldn't ever do that unless I'm ready to start holding classes. And I know that eventually there's going to be that pull and it's already starting to niggle away at me now to do Reiki teaching. How we do that? Do I do, events, smaller events, rent church halls, that type of, like, if you'd be interested in that type of stuff, let me know. It's not going to happen overnight, but if you would be interested in doing workshops like that, like a Reiki training or cacao ceremonies and that type of thing, maybe starting in 2026, let me know in the comments because I don't rush things. It'd be nice to talk about global things with Cacao because she's a protector as well. You see, you can feel yourself having a moment with her, not with her, but in yourself, and then you can feel her gently bringing you back. No, Claire, don't do that. Um, for example, you may be talking about something on the global stage, and whilst you're drinking, you feel her she softens it. She softens it. Damn. Ooh. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like I said, let me know the areas of life. It doesn't have to be spirituality, it can be illness. We can talk about poverty, we can talk about divorce. There's so much we can talk about. And I really want this playlist to take off. Boom. Okay, so share it with your friends if you think that they, get them on the channel. Um, yeah. I'm also willing to do chats with other creators. I've started that playlist up again. And if you want to come and do a chat with me, if you're a healer, If you're whatever you are, if you do anything, you like to come for a chat on here and you'd like to drink cacao with me while we're doing it on Zoom like this, we could do that as well. Because I am looking for, excuse me, there's going to be a lot of burping in these videos. I am looking for creators to talk to because one of the things my guide says was I work from home alone, unless Gary's here doing editing. And I need to get out with other people as well. Anyway, so let me know. You can drop me an email with that. Drop me if you would like to come onto one of my Zooms and have a chat either with the cacao or just chat about anything spirituality, Reiki, shamanism, crystals, your journey. If you've got an amazing journey that you think the people that follow this channel would like, let me know. Emails below, etc. Before I go, the diary for January is open. The diary for January, yes, it is January. The diary for 2025 is open. So if you want to book a session, a Reiki session, a tarot session, a mentoring session, whatever, it's open now. So you can go on and book a session for the year ahead. You know, I'm all for now getting people spiritually healthy, energetically healthy, living good, healthy, wholesome lives that make you happy to wake up in the morning. And I know that my sessions in 2025 and beyond are going to start going from strength to strength because I'm changing. And I know that the work that I'm doing is going to be changing going forward. So if you want to be part of that and getting on this, fun train that we're on at the minute, website is below. There's a booking system on there, payments. It's all very simple. Instagram, YouTube, and Full Power Cacao website, podcast, all of it's going to be below in the pinned comment in the description box. Thanks for watching. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.